Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video. Today what we're gonna do is look at chaining and specificity in the same really realm. So in the last video, instead of selecting all H5 elements, you were selecting only the H5 elements that were nested inside of the description elements, right? So this CSS selector was more specific than writing only H5. Adding more than one tag, class, or ID to a CSS selector increases the specificity of the CSS selector. So what that means is consider the following. Let's say you have the regular paragraph and then you have a main.paragraph. So both of the CSS rules define what a paragraph element should look like. But since the .main p has a class and a p type as its selector, only the paragraph elements inside the main element will appear red. So this occurs despite there being another more general rule that states uh, that the paragraph element should be blue. So to show how specificity increases with additional selectors, let's create another rule set with the descendant combinator and then compare it to a rule set without it. So in the style.css, let's go ahead and write a rule set using, let me see if it loads back up. Yep, okay. Let's go ahead and write that using, let's see, the descendant to select the H4 nested with the li braces. So let's see here, the H4, trying to find the H4. It's not in here, which is odd. Let's see. H4. I don't see the H4. That is weird. Okay, selecting the nested. Okay, elements in the in the nested li. The nested li? Yeah, I don't see it. That is odd. Okay, no worries. We'll just figure that out as we go. So what happens here is you basically do, let's say, H4, and then you have color, bold. It's wrong. Okay, after the li. Did you put the li? What? Write a rule set for after the li. What does that mean? Did you put the H4 after the li? Select nested to run. Okay, let's look at the hint. I really don't get it. Okay. Parent selector and then. Okay. Okay, so it should be parent selector and then you have the H4 selector. How about that? Oh, okay, I see, okay. Now create a rule set targeting elements with just the H4. So H4, and we'll set the color as Dodger blue. So select that, and yeah, gold. Those were gold. So the elements stay gold because there's a more specific selector for the H4 elements you wrote in the last step. Because of the more specific CSS selector, which is the li, and the H4, the more general of the H4 will not take hold. Okay, that makes sense. So the more specific one gets targeted. That's essentially how you can combine chaining with specificity, and that's how it works essentially. And then we can also look at the multiple selectors here. So for the multiple selectors, so in order to make CSS more concise, it's possible to add CSS styles to multiple CSS selectors all at once. So this prevents writing repetitive code. So for example, if you have the following repetitive attributes like h1 and then you have a dot menu, they both do the same thing. So instead of writing just font family Georgia twice, you can just separate the selectors by a comma to apply the same style to both like this. By separating the CSS selectors with a comma, both the h1 and the elements with the menu class will both receive the font family of Georgia style. So let's go ahead and practice this real quick. So in the style.css, write a selector for the h5 and the li. So we'll do h5 and the li. And for both, we're going to do monospace for the font. We're going to run it, and there you go. Both of those are monospace. So essentially, that's what it does. You can just select multiple at once. And this doesn't, ruin the specificity or anything like that, because this is different from this. Because if we had like li comma h4, that would be completely different from just li h4, if that makes sense. If you have any questions, just let me know down below. But again, if you guys did enjoy this, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.